When we are talking about any relationship, any relation, let it be personal or professional, it is incomplete without communication. We have to bloody communicate. If we want the other person to listen what we want to tell them, what we want to convey them, we need to communicate for that. So today we are focusing more on the verbal communication, and that sometimes, maybe knowingly, unknowingly, willingly, unwillingly, we sometimes say certain things or hear certain things which we do not like or which the other person does not like at all. So today we are going to talk about 4 major communication traps. They are traps because they leave us in that uncomfortable situation or awkward situation where we find very difficult to crawl out of. So what are those situations? So the first one is the personal trap. So in this, if somebody, that person can be your spouse, that can be your sibling, can be your parent, can be your co-worker, that person can be anybody. They did some task, you gave them to do this particular task. They did that task the way they know how to do it, but you were not happy about the completion of the task because you were having some different expectations which you did not convey in the first place, might have not conveyed in the first place. So now that particular task is in front of you. So rather than saying something about that particular activity or that task, you are making some personal statements or remarks over that person. So instead of saying I do not like this project, you are saying you're such a lazy person, this is the kind of work you have done, you're so lazy. See, there was no need to get personal in this situation, but we were again and again diverting the conversation from the project onto their personal life, which is highly unacceptable, especially in the professional self or in the professional lives. So we have to avoid getting into this personal trap, in which focus on what is to be asked or what is to be said. Do not get personal. And now comes the second trap in this: we demean the other person. We want to devaluate that person. We want to belittle that person, make them feel so little of themselves, and that will give us some sort of guilt pleasure. So in this, we will take the same example. That person did some particular project. You were not happy about the project. So you are now again and again releasing or speaking those particular statements which are absolutely hurtful to hear for that person. So for example, they have done the same project. You are saying this is so ugly project, even a 4-year-old kid or a 10-year-old kid can do this project better than you. You're such a wasteful person in this particular organization. I do not like you. I do not want you in this company. This is the kind of project you do. No wonder how your family is going to live with you. These are the things in which we are mixing the personal life along with the professional life, right? And we are demeaning that person, we are devaluing that person to that extent in which that person completely loses any kind of self-respect or self-worth they have for themselves, and somewhere we enjoy doing this. So this is such a big trap. We are not only making this relation with that person very uncomfortable, somehow, sometimes we are making an enemy out of that person. No matter what happens, after such conversations, multiple conversations like these, the other person becomes an enemy. Not that kind of enemy who wants to kill you, but that kind of enemy who will never wish well for you. Now, there might be a possibility in which we are at the receiving end now. We might have done wrong in some way, and we know the project was not done appropriately, but rather than accepting the responsibility, we are setting up the third trap for our own self, that is the defensive trap. So you're not owning your mistakes, you're not owning your lack of, I will say, professionalism. So here you are defending yourself that I could not do this particular project because I was so occupied, I was having such a terrible headache, I could not do this because I was having such a severe back pain. Something like this. We are building up more and more excuses, but we are not owning the situation that yes, it is my fault, I am so sorry, I will do it better next time, or allow me some time, I will finish it the way you want me to finish it. It shows that I have confidence on myself, I do not have anything to hide, and I am not filled with inferiority, I am not filled with any kind of negative attitude. I have confidence, I evaluate myself well, I have self-love, I do not need this to defend myself, right? So if we are defending ourselves, it means we know we are at fault, but we lack that kind of courage to face the situation. So speaking of facing the situation, we are coming on to the fourth trap. This is somehow the most popular out of these 4 traps. So this is a disappearing trap, also known as gaslighting, right? Not all the types of gaslighting, but disappearing gaslighting. So in this, rather than facing that awkward situation, rather than facing that uncomfortable conversation, or that particular meeting which you know is going to be very unfavorable for you, you're avoiding that person, you're avoiding that meeting at all cost. You're disappearing. So this is escapism. You are not facing the situation, you're running away from the situation, and only that person runs away who knows they won't be able to survive there. So there is again lack of huge amount of self-worth, self-respect, as well as self-confidence. So these are 4 types of major communication traps which we always lay out or get stuck, sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, because we do not know what we are speaking. So we need to understand whatever words come out of our mouth, they should not be demeaning, they should be very carefully said out, right? Second, if we are in some situation in which we were unable to complete the task the way we were asked to, so rather than running away, rather than giving any kind of excuse, face it up, accept, do some introspection, and then work over yourself. See, constantly you need to understand one thing: we always need to improve ourselves. Change is constant, nobody remains fixed throughout their life. Our skin grows old, everything changes due with the passage of time, right? So we need to change as well. So if there is any possibility that we might be lacking the self-worth, self-love, or self-confidence, that is the place where I can help you. I have made a free of cost hypnotherapy session. All you need to do is listen to that session on daily basis. It will definitely help you to feel more comfortable, more confident, and more worthy, no matter where you are, right? So if there is any other trap, communication trap especially, which I left out according to you, kindly let me know in the comment section. So I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.